Welcome to DU Digimon.
Hello and welcome to DU Digimon and welcome to another video. If you're liking this sort of content, please make sure to like the video, subscribe to the channel and ding that notification bell so you're not missing out on any of the latest content. Now, I completely forgot that Regulation Battle Volume 2 was coming out as of this week, so hence the third upload, which I've not done in a while, 3 uploads in 1 week, so hopefully this comes out on time. But anyways, Regulation Battle Volume 2 is quite interesting. The last one was basically just Pauper format. This one requires the use of specifically traded cards, which are going to be any cards with the DM, NSP, DS, ENSO, WG or Axel trait. So you've got to have 30 copies of your cards in the deck that share that same trait, and that is a mix of Digimon, Tamers and option cards, and then the other 20 cards can be anything with no special restrictions. So obviously people are wondering what to play. We had a question about it in our Discord, which do go into the description below to join the Discord if you have not. You know, we all like to chill out and hang out and see card reveals and stuff there. But you know, we were asked about it by a gentleman called Magneton. No relation to the Pokemon, I'm sure. And he was asking me what, you know, well, not me in particular, just the group, you know, what would we play? And I gave my answer, and we're going to look at other potential answers to that question as well. Starting with what I will be bringing if I go down to any sort of regulation battle, which is the Axel deck. So this is verbatim what I took to regionals. And actually, although we just missed out on additional prizing by a single point, this deck did really well at regionals, you know, bar the Royal Knights matchup. It basically had a strong matchup against everything in the meta. It did really well against certain things like Shine Greymon. What else did I win against? I won against Shine Greymon, I remember that. I at least took a game off of a Royal Knights player, but I did lose to both of those. Who did I win against at regionals? I was 3-3. I won 3 matches, I lost 3 matches. 2 matches were to Royal Knights, 1 match was to Dynamon, those were the losses. It's Shine Greymon, Gallantmon, because I beat Sam, I remember that. And then, what was the other one? Red Purple Imperial Digimon, that was the other deck. So this deck did really, really well. And there are 35 cards in this particular build that share the Axel traits. Some particular highlights. We've got Dark Dramon Ace, which is one of the scariest aces in this format. You know, just being able to de-digivolve and, you know, something and then delete everything with the lowest play cost. And that is also something that must be said as well, guys. All of your cards, it's not clear in the rules that, you know, all of your cards have to share the same trait. It's 30 cards with the aforementioned trait. So technically speaking, I think you could make a deck that was a mix of all of the different traits if you're an absolute mad lad. I have not brought that up as an example, but I think that is potentially something that would be legal. But back to the general highlights in this. I've got 1 copy of Shakuamon, which is great for the kind of surprise DNA petition stuff. We've got the analog youths for searching and trashing stuff, as well as also when our Singularity of Chaos goes off to delete our Chaosmon, we gain some memory when we do so. The Bancho Leomon is great for the de-digivolve stuff. Ukamon for the searching consistency. You know, I really love the Axel deck. And definitely, if we end up doing a Regulation Battle 2 at Dead Universe, I will be doing this. If I can make it down to 1, I will be playing this. You know, this is definitely the deck I would bring, because it's the one I'm the most comfortable with. But on to our next one, which is Nature Spirits. And this is the build I took with me way back in Jank Tank 8. So I went for a kind of blue-green build that was focused around the aggression. You do have, you know, black and yellow lines for NSP as well, so you could definitely play with those. But I found in terms of the synergy for the strategy that the green-blue stuff was the best. Yes, the ratios are a bit weird. You know, we've only got 8 rookies. We've got more champions, for example, but our low play costs in this deck really help us with that. You know, Geckomon, hard playing that to get a draw is not a bad thing at all. You know, we've got Davis to help us search our blues and greens, so it literally searches basically everything in the deck, bar Eldradimon, same with Jade Memory Boost. And the Eldradimon, of course, is something that is kind of a necessity for us. We have to play this, otherwise the deck does not work. And it is the only thing that the Davis and the Jade Memory Boost will whiff on, but with the amount of draw we've got, you know, and the Tentomon search, we can still find it pretty easily, especially because it is at 4 copies. We have access to the Otamamon, Digimon, which is fantastic in the Axel matchup because it stops the reduction of play costs, which both the Singularity of Chaos option and the Bancholeomon and Varaduramon both do. And like I said, you could definitely play a black-yellow list. I've not brought one today just because I couldn't really get my head around doing that, because I just prefer this version so much more. And to me, this is the better way to go. Just full on gas, aggro. This did well at Jank Tank 8 until it came across decks that could, either just out control it or out defend against it. So there is that to bear in mind. But you could definitely still tech in some of the black stuff if you wanted. If you wanted a less kind of draw power consistency version like I've gone for. But onto our next deck, which, speaking of Jank Tank 8, this was the deck that won Jank Tank 8. This is Nightmare Soldiers. This is Charles's build from back in Jank Tank 8. And again, this is another legal list for the format. Even before Regulation Battle came out, this is a legal format. Everything in this is a Nature Spirits related card until you get to Matte, Analog, and Amber Memory Boost. So everything else is completely legal in this. So we are all good to use this. And Nightmare Soldiers is pretty scary. It's got a lot of surprise memory game with stuff like the Candlemon. The Matte's great for that, as well as the Analog Youth. Bolt Baltamon is like a card that's looked at Tlalocmon and went, hold my beer, I am you but better. It plays up to 10 play costs total worth of Nightmare Soldiers stuff, which could be three level 4s potentially with your 8mon and your Dokugamon. It de-digivolves stuff. It does minus DP. It trashes your opponent's top security when something is deleted. It's just a really cool card. And Nightmare Soldiers absolutely is a deck that could be of really great use. It's also got some ace potential with stuff like the Paidamon. Because you've mainly got a purple line, you could maybe sneak in a Darkdramon if you wanted to. The Callusmon is great for the little DNA. Nightmare Soldiers is a pretty awesome deck, and definitely is going to be like the main purple adjacent deck that people will be playing, apart from maybe some of the DM stuff. But we'll carry on. Next up with something that made its debut alongside Nightmare Soldiers, which is Deep Savers. Now, this is not a tested build. Some of these lists are non-tested. This is kind of the point where we're going to be going into non-tested builds, and that's my Discord, I think, popping. So I'm just going to try and shut that up. Hopefully that did the trick. Some of these lists are not going to be tested. Deep Savers is not a deck that I have, and I was very tempted to ask Sam for a Deep Savers list, but I know he's mega on Giga Seadramon and Seadramon stuff at the moment, so I don't even think he's got Deep Savers built at the minute. But this is kind of what I thought. I wanted to go for a mainly blue build, consistency wise. Once we get the Midnight Memory Boost, the blue-black one, you could make a fully blue and black version of Deep Savers, just like I've done with the Nature Spirits list. But for now, this will do, and this is mainly there. I also found it really hard to come up with a tamer that this deck could use, so I ended up just not running any. Whether or not that's a good choice or not, probably not. I'm sure if there are any Deep Savers players watching this, do let me know in the comments below if you think this list is arse. It probably is, but it's got some cool neat tricks. The Metal Seadramon's great for the D-Digivolve and bounce. Plesiomon helps us with the DNA Digivolving. Aegis-Dramon is the the best of those level 7s up until EX8. You could make the argument that Cernumon is now the better, look, I'm the level 7 that has the trait DNA thing. But being able to just stun the board with this, make things unaffected, just stop them from activating their own plays. It's just a really good level 7. I snuck this into one of my Armadillo builds, and I friggin' love it. It's a great card. I also thought Kaizenel would be a really good shout in this, just to help us playing out with stuff. If we wanted to maybe trigger the Plesiomon. So Plesiomon plays out at level 4 or lower, but obviously you want your Mega Seadramon or your Metal Seadramon, so you could use the Kaizenel, play out Mega Seadramon from under your stack, then do the your turn DNA into Aegis, so that could work. So that's what I thought was there. Ice Wall I thought would be an interesting pick as well. This is like the main blue deck that's going to be in the format, so I thought Ice Wall would be nice. Next we'll go on to the last of the kind of family group traded Digimon, which is Wind Guardians. Wind Guardians just got a slew of new support in EX9, actually making it a functioning deck. And in my mind, again, this is untested because I do not play Wind Guardians. I possibly might. I'd love to give it a go. I basically built this just like I would with Nature Spirits, but with more of the, just more, just slightly different ratios essentially, because we could use Davis, we could use Jade Memory Boost, because unlike Nature Spirits, everything in Wind Guardians is blue or green, not just the majority. So this is a really, we've got some purples, but they are also green. So I think this is a really cool list. Cernumon is a great boss monster, having Alliance and Blocker, returning things to the bottom of the deck, playing stuff out. If it were to die, a 7 play cost, so you could actually play out your Puppetmon, for example. So I really love it. We've got access to jamming, we've got access to Vortex with the Wind Guardians option, we've got Piercing, we've got redirects, we've got a lot of things going on, in this deck now. So the EX9 stuff I think has just completed this deck and really taken it off of the just shit tier. It's no longer complete shit. But I think this could be a potentially really spooky list to go up against, or deck to go up against, really. Not necessarily this list. Again, any Wind Guardians players, let me know in the comments below if you think this list is complete arse. Because like I say, I have not played it. And speaking of things I've not played, it's time to look at DM. And I've got 3 different lists for DM, all untested, and all things that really made me confused when I was looking at them. So get those fingers ready and those keyboards warmed up. It's DM time. And the first DM list I've gone with is kind of a mix of version 1 and version 2 stuff. So you can go into Omnimon Alter S. This is the DM stuff that I'm most interested by, and I'm potentially looking to build myself, though I might not. Just the only reason I'm tempted is to basically just complete my collection of decks that get the most broken card in the set out. Omnimon Alter S is absolutely busted, and in this deck it actually has some more options in regards to what it can do, playing out all the version 1 and version 2 trait cards from underneath it, well, not all of them, but one of each, as well as potentially the Greymon stuff. So I think this could be really cool. I put in the Adventure Tai and Matt just to help us give a bit of memory game when we do the Greymon Garurumon stuff. We've got a few Greymon's Garurumon names in this, so obviously the Blitz and the Cress, we've got the Greymon Garurumon, Metal Greymon, so we've got a fair few of those names. I've also put way too much meat and protein into this. We just want those gains. But I wasn't too sure what else to put in. Again, it's not something I've tested with. I like the idea of the Mamemon, being able to, play out more stuff. So maybe the players there to play some more stuff with training in the rookie slot, so that we can put more face down cards underneath the Mamemon, so we can then play higher play cost stuff out. But I think this could be really cool. The fact that Omnimon Alter S is a DM traded boss monster is spooky, because it's a really, really powerful card. So I like the look of this list. I don't know how well it will function really, but it definitely might need some fine tuning. But like I say, I already know what deck I'm picking if I do Regulation Battle Volume 2. It's going to be Axel, because that's what I'm super comfortable with. So again, any version 1, version 2 players, just be kind, but let me know what you think of the list, and what you would play instead. Next, we go on to the second most confusing DM deck for me, which was Machine Dramon. So Machine Dramon you can play. All of this stuff is DM, apart from the Chaos Dramon X, obviously, and the Analog Man, but and the Attack of the Heavy Mobile Digimon. But that still makes it legal. It's 30 copies or more, so we're all fine. I've put most of these DM level 5s in as 2-ofs rather than 1-ofs, just to make sure we were hitting the quotas for our copy cap. So there's that. We've got the Tuskmon to get some raid. We've got the Raremon to digivolve up into stuff. Devidramon just to get some more draw power. So there is quite a lot of stuff going on here. Of course, the star of the show himself is Machine Dramon, just giving yourself all those on plays, those level 5s, playing stuff underneath. It's really hard to remove off the board. It's got assembly. You go into the Chaos Dramon X, it makes it even better. We've got redirects for the Analog Man. We've got Memory Setter here. So there is quite a few things with this. Again, not a tested list. I probably should have hit up one of the guys, because I know a lot of the guys have been playing around with this, whereas I have not been. But this again is another option for you. And then last but not least is the deck that really I just threw my hands up in the air and went, yep, here's a deck. And it is Chimeramon. So the Chimeramon DM stuff. And Chimeramon as a card is really cool. Just playing out this boss monster for 3 cost with the assembly is really good. But I mean, holy crap, some of the lists I found to try and get inspiration from, it's just 1-ofs of everything. So I just went 2-ofs of everything. I'm not gonna lie. I even went 1-of of each of the egg, because I'll be honest, I don't know which of the eggs is the best one. I think it depends entirely on what you optimize this deck with. You know, are you going with more version 1 stuff? Are you going with more version 4 stuff? You know, what are you doing? You know, are you going more version 3 because Chimeramon itself is a version 3? You know, so I think that really depends on what you're optimizing. But Chimeramon itself, like I said, is nuts. You know, doing the assembly, getting all of these different keywords available to you: raid, jamming, barrier, piercing, blocker, you know, draw one, trash ones. We've got retaliation. There's so much stuff that you can get underneath it. It's kind of nuts. I also put the analog youth, the old one, in as well as the new one, essentially just to help us with filling the trash. You know, so you're not always stuck doing that, you know, via training and then just letting something die. You know, that you can absolutely do that. I think that's one of the strengths of the DM stuff, is being able to fill up your trash with those face down cards. So yeah, definitely something you could look at. Like I say, this is not tested. None of the DM lists were. In fact, all of them were basically untested lists until since the Nightmare Soldiers one, I'll be honest. But you know, the main point of this video is to basically show you the variety of stuff that you could come up against and the variety of stuff that you could play. So let me know in the comments if you think any of these lists are us, even the ones that were tested. You know, this is not deck profiles per se, this is more an overview of the format and what you can build for it. So like I say, you know, just be kind in the comments, or don't. Engagement is engagement at the end of the day. You know, whatever, YouTube stuff, man. But you know, let me know what you guys think of the Regulation Battle Volume 2 format. You know, what would you like to see out of the next Regulation Battle? You know, I thought I'd turn Discord off. It's there again. Oh well. I think the last two formats were really interesting, but some of the guys from the team were not interested at all. You know, as you know, which is a real shame, because I like the idea of doing specialized deck playing formats, where we're not just playing, you know, what's meta relevant for the week, with coming up with things which are a little bit more interesting. But you know, let me know what you guys think in the comments below. You know, what are you guys hoping to play for Regulation Battle Volume 2? What would you like to see out of the next Regulation Battle if Bandai does another one? Just let me know. Anyways, like, subscribe, ding that notification bell, and we'll see you again on the next video. But until then, keep it digital.